Right, we're going for a quick rundown of the covenants that Abraham made with God that's really important for Jewish people today, as it was in the beginning. It was the first covenant, the first Brit. This land had been promised to them by God. They didn't know where it was. It was just called Canaan, a promised land. So they only had to pack the essentials and take their family off. A massive commitment. In return, God said he would look after them. No idea where they were going. So, toothbrush, toothpaste, and a spare pair of pants. That'll do. So that's the first covenant. They're promised a new land called Canaan, and they had to just leave their house and all their stuff and all their mates and just take the people with them that were part of the family. A massive commitment. The second covenant, God said, look up at the sky.
And all its wonders, the stars and the planets and the galaxies.
Now you see all those stars, you're going to have so many descendants, as many as those stars. A descendant is somebody's children, who has 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 children, and to keep going on forever. And you see all of them, you're going to have more descendants than you ever imagined, and they will all be nations of Jewish nations. In return, the Jews had to sacrifice animals. Now, they were nomadic, so the animals that were with them were very important because it was a source of food and everything. But God said, if you sacrifice in my name, then you'll be okay. So they sacrificed an acquired number of animals. That's the end of that rubber chicken. God sorted Abraham out with the first two parts of the covenant. The covenant part number one was to leave your house, and I will give you a promised land called Canaan. Covenant number two was, look at the stars, and I will make sure that you will have as many descendants as you can see stars in the sky, and you just have to sacrifice some animals for me in atonement. So the third covenant is a very personal one because it involves some cutting of the foreskin, called circumcision. Now, contrary to proper belief, it's not just getting the end and chopping it off, but it's cutting off the foreskin as a visible sign you're part of the covenant with God. Now, it's a visible sign to you and to God, but not to everybody else. So it's about an inward commitment to what you are doing with God. Only he needs to know, or your wife. Remember, the impact for Jews is really important. So firstly, at 8 days old, they send their boys to be circumcised. That's called the Brit Milah. The other thing they try and do is remember that God is going to look after them if they follow the rules. So Orthodox Jews are going to really stick to the mitzvot, the 613 rules or guidance for them to live by, and Reform Jews will try and work in a way that will bring about a messianic age and also follow the rules at the same time so that they can be with God and find atonement with him. This style... I can't do this anymore.